Let's be brutally honest. Silence is one of the most powerful weapons a man can ever use, and one of the few that women can't defend against. Because when you go quiet, when you stop chasing, explaining, or reacting, something strange happens inside her mind. It starts as confusion, then turns into curiosity, and finally, obsession. You see, women are not wired to handle emotional ambiguity. When a man who once gave her validation suddenly disappears into calm silence, her subconscious begins to panic. Did he lose interest? Did I push him away? Or is he moving on? That uncertainty burns inside her. It rewrites her thoughts, minute by minute. Most men think silence is about ignoring her. It's not. It's about regaining your power. It's about showing restraint in a world where every man is desperate for attention. You become a mystery again, and that's when her mind starts chasing closure. You see, women don't crave attention. They crave certainty. And when you take that away, when your energy no longer revolves around her, she feels a loss of control. That loss triggers fear. Fear of being replaced. Fear of losing access to a man she once felt sure about. Now here's the part that's never spoken. A woman's attraction isn't built through constant reassurance. It's built through emotional tension. Every time you try to explain yourself, justify your silence, or text her just to check in, you dissolve that tension. You tell her subconsciously, "You still have me." But when you don't explain, when your silence stretches longer than she expects, it's her mind that starts running wild. She replays every conversation. She questions every look, every word, every memory. Your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. Silence makes her see what she ignored. She starts noticing your confidence, your focus, your strength, not because you told her, but because you showed her through restraint. It's a paradox. When you pull away without anger, without words, you create gravity. You stop being predictable, and she starts feeling what you once felt, uncertainty. And in that shift, she's no longer the one in control. Think about this. When was the last time she truly missed you? When was the last time she couldn't stop thinking about where you were or who you were with? It probably wasn't when you texted her 10 times or tried to prove your worth. It was when you disappeared, when your silence became the mirror that forced her to face herself. Because silence doesn't just make her wonder about you, it exposes her. It reveals whether she ever truly valued you or just your attention. The man who masters silence doesn't do it to manipulate, he does it to protect his energy, to let her feel the absence of what she took for granted. That's when her mind goes crazy, not because you're punishing her, but because she's realizing what she's losing. And here's the truth. A man who can stay silent doesn't just control the situation, he controls himself. That's what makes him rare. That's what makes her chase. When your silence stretches beyond what she expects, something powerful and almost primitive begins to unfold inside her. At first, she'll pretend not to care, she'll act busy, post a few stories, maybe even flirt with the idea of someone new, but deep down, she's scanning for your reaction. She's waiting for you to break first, and when you don't, when you remain calm, composed, and unbothered, her mind starts fighting itself. See, women are emotional detectives. They're wired to interpret tone, timing, and energy. When your energy suddenly disappears, her subconscious starts searching for answers. The human brain hates uncertainty, but for women, emotional uncertainty feels like danger. It's the same part of her brain that once evolved to detect changes in her partner's behavior for survival. That's why your silence feels louder than any words you could say. It creates a psychological imbalance she must resolve. She'll replay your last conversation, analyze your tone, wonder why you didn't reach out. That confusion slowly turns into self-doubt. Did I do something wrong? Did he lose interest? Has he found someone else? Each unanswered question deepens her attachment because her mind links the discomfort of not knowing with the need to find out. That's when she starts chasing emotionally, even if she hides it. Here's the irony. The more she tries to suppress her curiosity, the stronger it grows. Every time she checks your profile, every time she scrolls through old messages, she's feeding that obsession. Silence turns into a mirror, and she begins seeing her own insecurities reflected back at her. The longer you remain silent, the more her mind creates stories, and those stories become emotions. She might start posting pictures designed to get your attention. Subtle things like an old memory, a quote about letting go, or a selfie that screams confidence but hides confusion. She's not doing it by accident. She's trying to provoke you, to break your silence, because in that silence, she's lost control of the emotional frame, and control is everything to her. This is why the man who can remain grounded in silence becomes unforgettable. You're not cold, you're composed. You're not disappearing, you're detaching with peace. And that's what drives her crazy, because peace is unpredictable. Anger is easy to respond to, but silence, it leaves her with nothing to push against. She can't argue with it, can't decode it, can't win against it. That's when the respect starts to return, slowly, quietly. The truth is, women often test boundaries to measure emotional strength. When she feels your silence, she's testing whether your world still revolves around her. Most men fail here. They break, they chase, they explain. But the man who stays silent communicates something far more powerful. My value doesn't need your attention. That's the moment attraction rewires itself, because women are drawn to the man who could chase her, but doesn't. The man who could explain, but won't. It's not manipulation, it's alignment. You're teaching her that your energy is earned, not given freely. You're reminding her of something her emotions forgot, that you were whole before her. That's the moment her mind starts running scenarios. What if he's really over me? What if he's improving? What if he's meeting someone new? These thoughts aren't just jealousy. They're fear. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of losing the emotional safety she once had with you. So she starts to miss you, not because you're gone, but because you've become unpredictable. You're no longer part of her emotional routine. And that unpredictability, that silence, becomes magnetic. It shifts the balance of power, not through dominance, but through distance. Because silence isn't just quiet, it's presence without effort. It's saying, I don't need to prove myself anymore. And when a woman feels that, when she sees that you can love her, want her, but not need her, she feels something deeper than attraction. She feels respect. When your silence lasts long enough, something inside her begins to shift. The same woman who once seemed distant, distracted, or even dismissive now starts to feel a deep, uncomfortable pull. She begins craving the very thing she once took for granted, your presence. But here's the truth she'll never admit out loud, that craving isn't really about you. It's about the emotional control she lost when you went silent. Silence flips the psychological script. Before, you were the one trying to decode her, what she meant, how she felt, why she pulled away. But now, she's the one searching for meaning. You've forced her to face the one thing women rarely experience from men: emotional ambiguity. She can't predict you anymore, and that unpredictability awakens something primal in her. Her emotions start to work for you instead of against you. At first, she'll resist it. She'll tell herself she doesn't care, that she's over it, that you're not worth the thought. But those words are just shields, because her emotions don't listen to logic. Every time she reaches for her phone and stops herself from texting, she feels that internal tug, that mix of frustration and desire. That's not confusion. That's her feminine energy reacting to your masculine stillness. You've become the mountain she can't move. This is the part where she starts remembering the best parts of you, not the arguments, not the flaws, just the moments of strength, laughter, calmness, and connection. Silence has a strange way of rewriting memory. The distance amplifies everything she once overlooked. You stop being the man she got used to and start becoming the man she can't stop thinking about. That's how emotional polarity reignites, not through words, but through space. Most men never experience this reversal because they never let the silence breathe long enough. They panic when she doesn't respond, and that panic kills attraction. But the man who understands the power of pause knows something deeper. Silence creates contrast. It highlights your self-respect, your discipline, your peace. Women don't crave chaos. They crave the man who remains calm inside it. And when she feels that steadiness in you, something in her body responds. It's not conscious, it's biological. Her tone changes when she finally reaches out. You'll notice it. It'll be softer, slower, more careful. That's her feminine energy lowering its guard. She might start small, liking a post, sending a casual text, or asking something unnecessary just to see if you'll respond. But behind every "hey" or "how have you been" lies one question she's too proud to ask. Do I still matter to you? This is where your power must remain grounded. Don't rush, don't chase. Let her come closer, piece by piece, because now she's feeling what you once felt, that burning curiosity, that desire to reconnect. And the only reason she's feeling it is because you didn't interrupt the silence. You let her feel the weight of losing your energy. In that space, she begins to realize something that changes everything. That your silence wasn't emptiness, it was strength. You didn't withdraw to punish her, you withdrew to protect your peace. That's the difference between a boy seeking validation and a man holding value. And when she feels that emotional distance wrapped in quiet confidence, her respect for you deepens. Respect first, attraction second. Because a woman can't truly love what she doesn't respect. And respect doesn't come from noise. It comes from mystery. When you master silence, you stop being reactive and start being magnetic. You stop chasing validation and start embodying it. You become the calm she didn't know she craved, the certainty she thought she could control. That's when her mind stops running from you and starts running toward you. Silence doesn't just pull her back emotionally, it rebuilds the invisible hierarchy between masculine and feminine energy. When you go quiet, you reclaim a kind of dominance that doesn't come from control, but from composure. You stop being emotionally available on demand, and suddenly, she feels your absence as a force. That's when something powerful happens. Her nervous system starts to calm around your stillness. The same silence that made her anxious begins to feel grounding. It becomes safety. Women are deeply emotional creatures, but that emotion doesn't just flow toward whoever gives them attention. It flows toward whoever they feel safe surrendering to. Silence is how you show her that you're not emotionally needy, that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that your world doesn't collapse because she walked away. That quiet self-control is magnetic. It signals to her subconscious, he doesn't need me, he chooses me. And choice, not need, is what creates emotional dominance. In the beginning, your silence might make her rebel. She'll test it. Maybe she'll post pictures designed to make you react or talk to other men just to provoke you. But what she's really testing is the strength of your center. She wants to know if your silence is discipline or disguise. Most men fake confidence. They pretend not to care while secretly obsessing. But true silence is peaceful. It's not an act. It's a decision. It's the moment you say, I'm not going to chase what's running from me. That kind of silence changes everything. It shifts her perception of you from predictable to powerful, because now you're not reacting emotionally, you're responding energetically. You're showing her what real masculine energy feels like, controlled, calm, detached, yet capable of deep feeling. It's the balance between care and control. And that balance is what her feminine instinct craves more than anything. When she finally feels that shift, her body responds before her mind does. The tone of her voice changes. The way she looks at you softens. She might even start mirroring your calm energy, trying to match the rhythm you've created. This isn't manipulation, it's polarity. It's the natural law of emotional gravity. Masculine energy pulls, feminine energy flows. But the pull only exists when the masculine is steady. This is why women respect the man who can go silent without anger. Silence with resentment is punishment. Silence with peace is power. The first one pushes her away. The second draws her closer. Because your silence isn't empty, it's anchored. It tells her that your peace is not negotiable, that you're no longer available for emotional chaos, that your focus is back on your purpose, your self-respect, your growth. That's what truly makes her mind spiral, not your absence, but your evolution. She feels the shift. She senses that you're becoming someone harder to reach, harder to replace. It's no longer about getting you back. It becomes about earning your attention again. That's when the tables turn completely. The beauty of silence is that it doesn't just change how she sees you, it changes how you see her. You begin to notice what you were tolerating. You start to see which patterns you were trapped in. Silence forces both of you to confront the truth. If connection requires constant chasing, it was never mutual. When you step into silence, you're no longer playing her emotional game. You're inviting her into your reality, one built on strength, peace, and direction. She'll feel that difference. It's the difference between a man who's emotionally reactive and a man who's emotionally centered. And here's the secret most never learn. The man who can control his silence doesn't lose women. He loses the ones who were never meant for him. Because the right woman doesn't run from your silence. She leans into it. She finds peace in it. When your silence finally reaches her heart, everything changes. The woman who once dismissed your emotions now feels every second of your absence. She starts remembering your tone, your energy, your strength, not because you reminded her, but because your silence echoed louder than any message ever could. That's when realization hits her, not in the form of guilt, but in the form of emotional gravity. She begins to understand what kind of man she was dealing with. A man who doesn't beg for love, a man who doesn't chase attention, a man who commands respect through peace. And that's the rarest energy on earth, because most men crumble under the weight of silence. They break their own discipline just to feel seen again. But the man who stands still, who walks quietly in self-control, rewires the game completely. He teaches her that attention is no longer her weapon. It's his. Because he gives it only when it's earned. That's when the balance resets. You're no longer reacting to her emotions. She's responding to your presence. When she reaches out, and she will, don't rush to fill the silence you created. Let your words carry the same power your quiet did. Speak slowly, with calm confidence. Don't explain where you've been. Let her feel the difference. Because silence isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. It reveals her truth and your worth. And if she doesn't come back, that silence still served you. It refined you. It stripped away the parts of you that needed validation. It reminded you that a man's value isn't measured by who he keeps. It's measured by how he carries himself when he's alone. Every second of silence was training your masculine energy to detach with grace, to hold your peace even when your heart wanted chaos. That's real strength. That's the kind of power women sense before they even understand it. Remember this, attraction isn't about pursuit. It's about polarity. She can't feel drawn to you if she feels she already controls you. But when you go silent, when you reclaim your energy, your focus, your discipline, she feels something deeper than attraction. She feels respect, and underneath that, desire, the kind that doesn't fade overnight. Because silence changes the frame. It tells her, you're not the center of my world, I am. And paradoxically, that's what makes her want to be part of it again. She sees a man walking in his purpose, a man who doesn't chase love, but attracts it through his composure. That's what women crave deep down, a man they can feel safe following, not because he dominates her, but because he leads himself. So if you're in that silent phase right now, stay there. Don't break it out of fear. Let her wonder. Let her miss you. Let her realize what it feels like when your energy is no longer hers to consume. Because every moment she spends thinking about you, every second she questions your silence, you're rebuilding the respect she once lost. And the beauty of this transformation is that you're no longer doing it for her. You're doing it for yourself. The silence that once felt painful becomes your peace. You start seeing your value without external confirmation. You become unshakable. That's when women feel something they rarely admit, emotional submission. Not to your dominance, but to your strength. Because a woman can't resist a man who's at peace with himself. So here's my question to you. If you went silent today, would she even notice? And if the answer hurts, maybe it's time to make your silence mean something. Comment your honest answer below, because I want to hear your truth. Subscribe, like, and share this video with a friend who's giving too much of his energy to someone who doesn't value it. Because sometimes the loudest message a man can ever send is his silence.